Okay. Well, the next thing I want to talk about is viewing employee info and then submitting the salary verification. So I'll talk about that first, and then we'll talk about enrollments and stuff. But so viewing an employee. Um, so um, let's see. So there's a couple different ways you can get there. You can click on this tile, view employees. Otherwise, you can click into this hamburger menu, and under employees, we have employee search. So we can click on that. It's going to take us to this employee lookup screen. So the way the ESS, and it's very similar to what TFR has, Neospin, we have lookup screens and maintenance screens. So if you've been hearing me say maintenance screen, the way I think about this and the way is we have lookup screens. It's basically what it sounds like. This is a way for you to look up that information and view them. A maintenance screen is if you need to do anything and update information and so forth. So with this lookup screen, we have the search criteria panel. So we can look up this person based on different information. You know, if you know their last four digits of their social security, their first name, their date of birth, the status, like if they're active or terminated. Um, if you know them based off of the organization code, when their employment start date was, and so forth. Um, I have a name set up. In your guys' lab, I use date of birth just to make it easy, but I'm going to use the name. So I have Henry. I want to look up this guy named Henry. And so once I enter in that information, I can click the search button. And what it does, it populates the matching search results within the search results panel. So I'll get a list of all the records for every employee with the first name Henry. Um, and since I'm in my in my training region, there is only one Henry in here right now. So I can see, I go, okay, I have the employee name. As you can see, his name is hyperlinked. So I can either click on the hyperlink. I can also click on this, select the record and click the open button. It's whatever your preference is. It's one less click for me, so that's why I like to click on the hyperlinks. So I'm going to click on the employee name. And so when I do that, it takes me to that, as I was saying, the maintenance screen. So this is where I can dig down deeper, view more information about the employee. And if I'm able, there'll be information that I can update as well. But as you can see, it's just read only for right now. Um, so the first panel section I have is the demographic information. So this is the information that we have on file for Henry. Um, this person ID is, I think this will be new for you guys. I believe it's new for TFFR. This is how they are going to be navigating and identifying. So every record, person record in the TFR system, the Neospin system, is assigned a person ID. And so this is Henry's person ID. So if like TFR asks for that, this is where you can find that information. Also, we can see his first name, his last name, primary phone number, and email address. We can see his employment history and the information about that. If you needed to see, if you needed to get his person employment ID number, we can see that. We can see if he has a contract on file. Oh, that's weird that it's no. I probably didn't update that right correctly. So, and then we can see his estimated contracted annual salary and if he's a member of PERS. We can also see the address that he has on file here as well. And then I just kind of want to point out that's all the information we have at this time for this member. So that is just kind of viewing an employee. Now, the next thing you guys have for with TFFR, um, and it comes to like service retirement and having to validate their or verify their salary information. I know there's a situation where, you know, they're retiring maybe at the end of the year and they put in their end date and they're applying for retirement, and there's like a presumptive process where you guys have to say, yes, this is their estimated salary for like the next 4 or 5 months or however it works. So if that's the case, there's a couple different ways you can come in and submit that information. So so I clicked on the home screen because I kind of wanted to show you the different ways. So you can come in here and click this submit salary verification card. You can also go back to that employee search and just search the person that way as well. As you'll see, when I click here, it takes me to the same screen. So I'm going to click on this submit salary verification card, and it takes me back to that employee lookup screen. And now I'm going to look up, I have Carl set up. He's, retiring, and he needs to do that salary verification process. So I'm going to look him up by his first name. Whatever other information you have, you can look it up based off of that. So I have Carl here. And so when I'm going to click on this hyperlink so I can go into that maintenance screen. And so when I do that, you'll see it takes me to the same employee maintenance screen, um, obviously for Carl though. But the difference is when I scroll down here, I have a new panel. So you can see I have a panel and it says employee earnings verification. And so this is where I'm going to create that form that you guys need to fill out. So we have a new button here. Now, obviously, if I had already created a record, it would show up here. And if you needed to view it, you could click this open button. So I'm going to click this new button because I want to create a new record. And I'm going to wait because I think my internet's slow today. While it's thinking, does anyone have any questions so far? Whoops, why is it doing that to me? Okay. I think it was just like I do think my internet's being funky right now. So anyway, I clicked on that new button, and what it does is it opens up this employee earnings verification maintenance screen. And now if you'll notice, it's that grayed out. So I know it's in a new mode. And so I'm going to need to fill out some information. So I'm just going to kind of go over what's all here. So we have the employee details panel here. So this is giving me that information of, his person ID, organization name, the current ER model for the organization. We have the person name here, organization code, status. Um, these things haven't been populated yet because I'm in the new mode. We have the annual base contract salary. Now, I'm just also going to give like a little disclaimer. I think I've given it before, but just understand I'm in my training region so that my data might be, you know, not set up correctly because I'm me and I, you know, work fast sometimes and not correctly. So, and with that said, also it's like might not be the correct data is getting pulled. I like to like also say that when it comes to the training region, I'm like an iPhone 12, whereas you guys are the iPhone 16. So, it's just kind of the way we have to set up our data. We lag behind you guys. So, with that said, I have a fiscal year here of 2025. And then I come down here and I have this earnings verification details. So this is where I'm going to enter in the information. So for Carl, I'm going to pretend that let's see, he's going to, uh, bleh, he's retiring at the end of not the fiscal year. He's going to end at like in December. So his last day of work is going to be 12/31/2024. The number of payments, I'm going to say 4. And then estimated number of compensated hours, I'll just enter in, whoops, not 7,000, I'll do 700. Now, this is where you have your little, we have a little grid down here. And so we have the months and then the eligible earnings reported to TFFR. So I don't believe I've run a payroll, so this is not populating right now, but I also have the pay code information here. And so with the total. So I'm just going to say he's doing pay code 1 and I'm going to put it in for September, October, and then November and December. And so once I've entered in that information, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click the save button. And so when I do that, you'll notice the total estimated eligible earnings that got populated. This information in the total got populated. Whoops, sorry. Don't mean to highlight that. I also have a couple buttons that have been populated. So I have the submit button, the void button, and the refresh button. So if you needed to like add more information in here, you could do so and then click save. If you also are like, wait, this, if there was a need to like void this, you could do that. Maybe he decided to not retire or something and you don't need to do this, you could void the record. But we're going to pretend like everything's good to go. And so once you do that and you're ready to submit, you'll click the submit button here. And so now if you'll notice, it made this record read only. So I can't make any other updates to it. And what it does is it now has submitted that to TFFR so that they'll be able to take that information and go forward with the service retirement. So, and now if I scroll back, I can go back by either clicking the X and closing out of it. And so when we come down into that employee earnings verification, we can see now we have a record here with a status of submitted with the total estimated salary, estimated last day worked, and so forth. Before we move off of that screen, is there any questions about that?
Oh, Christine, I want to add a
Yeah.
couple of points if you don't mind.
Okay. No, I don't, because I know you're better at that than me. Thank
No
you.
problem. Hello, everyone. My name is Santosh. I work with Sagitech as well. A couple of quick points, right? At what point you guys will be doing this is basically when the member is ready for retirement, applied for the retirement process, and TFFR is requesting you to submit the form. In today's world, you will be submitting a paper form for salary verification. You're kind of getting away with it, and you will get an email from TFFR, automatic email from the NewSpin application saying that it's time for call to call has applied for retirement. Mr. Call has applied for retirement. It's time for you guys to go in and submit the salary verification, right? And that's when you come in here and then you submit this form. So the paper form is gone, and then this screen, this process that Christian demonstrated will replace the paper form. I just want to add that as a note.
Thank you, Santosh.
Sure. And then once you submit this, TFFR will resume the benefit application, retirement application process for the member. So that's the flow from a flow point of view, right? So it's very important that this form is submitted on time for TFFR users. Yeah.
Yep.
Over to you, Christine. Yep.
Yep. That's what I was going to say. Like, as of this point, they're stuck because they're having an error in their system going, they need this and they can't move forward to do their job until they get it. So they're kind of waiting on you guys to submit that before they can move forward. So that's a good thing to note. I could pull it up in the LOB if you want, but I'll just move on otherwise.